to the Jacksonville Saints game that happened on Thursday. And this, I got two questions. We'll start off with this one. Can the Jaguars realistically be a number one seed in the AFC?
Well, again, here we were. I think they really scared us the first few weeks, I'll say. We were kind of like, oh man, what's going on here? I think, if they stay on the streak, kind of pull like a 49ers last year and kind of just really ride out the end of the season on a really hot streak. With the division, as we said, it's surely possible. Again, I would say likely, no. But in the realm of possibility for sure. And that's all you can ask for if you're a Jags fan at this point. With, the history of what was going on and what you're looking at now, this is all you can ask for, is a shot to go win the Lombardi every year with this regime. And that's basically what I'd say the Jags are looking at, as long as everyone can stay healthy around. So give a round of applause to Jacksonville and Doug Peterson for turning things around so quickly as we do every single week. But
yeah, I agree. And something that I want to highlight too is like kind of the emergence of Travis Etienne. He's really been dominating these last couple weeks. And the thing that I want to point out is Calvin Ridley has not really been performing, which is very frustrating. And I think for Etienne to kind of, I feel like, not that he's picking up the slack in like directly of Calvin Ridley, he is helping that offense be electric. And even though T-Law hasn't played crazy, like together between Lawrence and Etienne, they had 100 yards on the ground. And it's like, if you can get 100 yards on the ground and then throw for another 200, any game where you have 300 yards of total offense, like that is a solid day. It's not amazing, but it's solid. And if you can do that, you can beat teams, especially if your defense is playing at somewhat of a decent level.
No, yeah. I mean, I'll say number one, I'll say like Trevor Lawrence, even on the hurt leg, he was out here, again, rushing every single time an opportunity. I'll tell you what, it didn't look like it hurt. And with Etienne, man, good runner. And he's just a tough son of a gun. There was so many times where I'm watching, I'm like, no way he's about to go back in there. Because, I'm looking, he's on the sideline, he's hurt, and he's getting crunched. You can hear like, the Saints defense out here laying hit sticks. And I mean, dude, he's relentless. He kept going back out there. He wanted more. He wanted to keep helping the team. That's the thing too, is you can see, it's the innate connection too, I think, that Trevor and him have. It's like they want to fight for each other, like it's what you want to have. They have the history. They have literal championships together already at a lower level, but nonetheless, you get my point. Everyone does. They're fighting together. They've been a part of the same thing. I think that bodes well.
Yeah. And I here's my thing, kind of go back to the question. Currently right now, I mean, let's look at the NFL standings really quickly. So if we go to the conference right now, they would currently they're currently like the third seed. I don't know exactly the tiebreaker from the North between the Ravens and them, as they're both 5-2, and then the Chiefs are right now the 1 seed at 6-1. I guess my thing is, realistically, do you think like the Chiefs, how many games do you think the Chiefs lose for the rest of the year? Because that is really going to be the determining factor of if the Jaguars can secure the 1 seed. Because I honestly believe, besides maybe like the 49ers, that they can beat any team in the NFL on any given Sunday.
Well, no, I was going to say absolutely. And here's the thing. I've been thinking about this a lot. This is exactly what I'm going to compare the Chiefs to at this point. And anybody that used to be playing Madden a lot, because again, when I was younger, I used to be tearing into Madden franchises, man. Like I would be, when I used to have a lot of time out, I would be the offline franchises, simulating stuff, seeing how you could build a team. And I'll tell you this, everyone who played a lot of them would definitely agree with this right here. You get to a point where you have some of your best teams, some of your most elite teams, no matter how high the difficulty is, and here's the thing, how much you're playing terrible that day. You could have a game where you've thrown like 5 interceptions, fumbled the ball, you have no red zone success, but the team is just so good. You're going to find a way once it starts. You're like, I got to, you dig out. You're like, I'm going to dig out a drive here and there. We're going to get back in this game. That is the Chiefs at this point. Like, even on their worst day, like, they're probably going to find a way to make a few plays. Mahomes is going to make a few crazy throws, and the defense is going to get a few tips and do a few crazy things. And we know what's going to happen. So, and this thing is, even when they play bad on some days, that's the reality of what they are at this point. So I'll say, looking at the schedule the rest of the year, from an honest perspective, the only games I say they have I'd say they have a chance to lose. At this point, I see you have a chance to lose against the Chargers. You got a chance to lose against the Bengals. You got a chance to lose against the Bills. Chance to lose against the Eagles. Chance to lose against the Dolphins. Realistically, though, I'd say at most, I feel like they lose 2 of these games. Okay. I'd say I could see them losing about 2 more this year, because it's really hard to go out and win all those. It is every single week. But again, come playoff time, come time that they probably will have the home field advantage. So I always say the Chiefs are That's why they're going to probably be there, because it's the team that they are. They just, on their worst day, they usually find a way. It's crazy.
I agree. So let's move over to the Saints side. Like, can the Saints realistically win a playoff game with Derek Carr?
I'll tell you,
because it's been very up and down. It's been super up and down, I feel like, for the Saints this year.
Well, so, okay. Again, as a Saints fan, multiple problems across the board, not just Carr. But let's start with Carr, right? He's missing a lot of easy throws. And I mean, not even he's missing the throw. Yes, he is missing certain easy throws on tape. But on tape, he also misses a lot of throws in the sense of he doesn't make the throw to something simple. That's just his nature. He likes trying to go deep. But that is not the Saints offense. No, it is not. Let me tell you, as a Drew Brees, I love Drew. I always will forever. Drew Brees truther. The way the Saints offense operates and has always operated, you got to be willing to take the low stuff, or else the high stuff isn't worth a damn. That's always how it's been. It's always how it will be. You have to get the defense to keep coming down, down, down. And if they don't, that's the whole point of our offense, is that the mesh and stuff is going to open things up that you will be able to get 4 or 5 yards at a time. And that's all you need at the end of the day. You don't need the chunks. Derek Carr doesn't seem to get that through his head yet. Part of the problem. But not just that, the receiver and QB communication right now is terrible. And not even just with Olave. Olave's getting the brunt of it, but it's not just him. I feel like a lot of them are not on the same page in terms of anything really at this point. It's kind of why I feel like part of the reason too, side note, it's like, why don't we see Jimmy Graham out there? Is it because they have no communication? Is it because they have no chemistry? I don't know. Bottom line is, my thing at this point is Derek Carr doesn't seem like he has really chemistry with any of our receivers besides Kamara. And even Kamara, truthfully, there's a lot of times that him and him, they just are not on the same page, and they're kind of looking back at each other like, what's going on? And Derek even said himself, he's wearing his emotions on his sleeve way too much. You are not Tom Brady. You earn that right to be able to wear the heart on the sleeve and be able to tell everyone to fuck off. He has not earned that right, especially in the black and gold yet. I think he's realizing it. Yeah, so the reality situation is, for more than anything, not only is the offense not in sync, they need to get like back in terms of like morale. Like, they need to get the morale back up, because they're not feeling each other in terms of like, yeah, I know exactly what he's going to do. Nobody has any idea what anyone is doing. It's terrible. I'm being honest with you. However, our defense, we'll look at how we even have wins right now, right? The defense is playing great. You could compare the Saints to a lot of teams right now that I'm watching where you're like, wow, like a lot of things are great, but man, that QB situation is really, really shaky. And that's literally the Saints right now. And what makes it worse with us with the Saints is that they had tossed, 200 mil in this man's lap. It's, I'm starting to say, like, no matter what, I would not be upset if the Saints started, like, literally drafted a QB next year and started at least looking to what we're going to do in the future. Jordan Love the situation. I don't care.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah, that was going to be my actual question to kind of like close this game out. What is a higher chance? The Saints make it to the NFC Championship with Derek Carr throughout his contract, or that Derek Carr plays out his full contract with the Saints, meaning they would cut him or trade him?
I feel like almost in the sense of too, just the way that the direction of the Saints looks right now. I know I sound bleak. I'm just being honest. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm jinxing it. But the reality is, I feel like we're headed towards, it's probably going to be and I don't think it's going to be a trade, because let's call it for what it is. What team really is going to trade for Derek Carr right now, especially after the history of the injuries, and then now seeing it just wouldn't really make much sense. I feel like we are probably headed towards a cut at certain point situation. It's obviously not going to be this year. Probably wouldn't even be after next year.
Yeah, it would have to be after the 2024 season, because then you save $28 million. If you were to do it, I believe you'd be down. The dead cap hit would be like $52 million.
Well, and side note, I actually was thinking about this the other day when I was having dinner. I wanted to bring this up on the show. I think something a lot of fans need to understand too is, because a lot of Saints fans in this case, I'm reading a lot of like, it's like, why not just cut him after you cut him earlier. We just let it go. You take your loss. It's like, yeah, easy to say when it's not your money. When you're the one who's literally flushing $30 million down the toilet, you're going to look at the situation differently. And yes, I understand it's frustrating to us as fans, and to any situation as a fan where you want them to just cut the loss and, tell them to fuck off. But that's the problem is from the monetary standpoint, you would just be taking such a big loss. In some ways, it's almost just not even feasible.
Right.
And that's kind of what we're looking at. But that's kind of the problem with why, side note, last thing, we're going to move on. But Mickey Loomis, I've been truthing you forever. You've done great things by us. You're a Saints legend. But recently, it's a what have you done for me recently league. It always will be. That's just life in general sometimes. It's kind of, we're looking at you, Mickey, like, Mickey, what's going on here? What's going on with there's been a lot of recent draft stuff we're thinking about, a lot of staff decisions we're thinking about. In the special teams unit, the Saints have the worst special teams unit in the league. I'll keep bringing this up every week. We cut both of our starters going into the year, and we signed 2 rookies that are both worst at their position group. Inexcusable. Mickey, we are questioning you at this point. We can move forward now.
All right, with moving forward, yeah, the Will Lutz trade never made sense to me ever.
Got to start asking who's in charge of these decisions.